moving on to the bigger off-season, the Cavaliers, or more specifically, the Decision 3.0. LeBron has now fallen to 3-6 in the finals. He knows and he is aware of the fact, he's not kidding himself, that there's a massive talent gap between the Cavs and the Warriors, and there is
Yeah.
going to be a massive talent gap, regardless of what happens with the Warriors this offseason. If he stays with this Cavs team, unfortunately, unless there is some ridiculously impressive off-season trading, drafting, movement of this roster, it is going to be a similarly undermanned, under-talented roster that he's going to have to try and carry for a chance to go 4-6 or could be 3-7 next year. This is such an open-ended question and no one actually knows. But your opinion, does he stay or does he go?
He's gone.
He's
I
gone?
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's shown his frustration when he said he punched
He
a
punched a
whiteboard or
blackboard,
blackboard
yeah.
after game one, after JR's stuff up, and I don't know. He did what he promised. He brought a championship to Cleveland, and I think now he's just got to do what's best for his career, and he still wants to win. He knows he's 3-6, and I think everyone's going to hold that against him. But um, if he has a better opportunity at winning, which is going to be on a lot of different sides that aren't the Cavaliers, he's going to have to leave and find somewhere else to play next season.
Yeah, I'd say it just kind of felt, watching that last game today, it just felt like a goodbye. It didn't feel, even the way he checked out, I know he congratulated everyone who was on the floor, but he left straight away. It didn't really feel like I'll be back here. It kind of felt like this might be goodbye. And I don't think, as you mentioned, I don't think he owes them anything anymore. He got them their championship, which has eluded them or had eluded them for so long. And now for him at 33 years old, he needs to make a decision financially, but also where he thinks he can win. If he does leave, now we don't have Brownie on the podcast, but he would be screaming, screaming Lakers. But is it down to the Lakers, 76ers, and Houston? They seem to be the main three. Or is there another team that could possibly sneak in there?
I've got two teams that I think will make really heavy runs for LeBron.
Please don't say
One,
the Warriors.
not no, one is not the Warriors.
Okay, good.
One is a bit more plausible than the other, and I'm going to say that one first. San Antonio. Um, I think no matter what happens with Kawhi, I think it'd help if they have Kawhi because LeBron would
Wouldn't
help
have
to
to
play
go up
with him,
against him.
and if yeah, he wouldn't have to go up against Kawhi in the finals, so that would help his case. But um, I think he hasn't ever worked with a legendary coach, and Eric Spoelstra has become a great coach since LeBron has left Miami. But he was in his early days when LeBron was there, so I think LeBron getting the chance to work with Popovich and I don't know the players that are around there, LaMarcus Aldridge and even the young guys, Dejounte Murray and Kyle Anderson and guys like that would be a really exciting young core for the Spurs. The other one that is a bit out there and I don't really see happening, but I kind of like to see happen is the Knicks.
Yep.
Um, on their roster currently, well, there's a player option of 18 million for Enes Kanter. Um, who,
According to
who,
Enes Cantor
who
on
I think
Twitter, he's
who I
already
think
there.
is a like genuinely good NBA center. I think he does have I don't know. I don't know about his personality. He's a bit of a weird character, but
Yep.
he is a good NBA player, and he has proven that in the teams that he has played for previously, especially when he was at OKC. Um, the things that they would have to move around. Joakim Noah's owed 18.5 million next season. Courtney Lee's owed over 12 million. Kristaps is still on a rookie deal, which extends until the end of next season. So I don't know if they can swing a trade to get rid of Joakim Noah, Courtney Lee, trade them to a struggling team who's looking to tank. I think there's scope for it to happen, but I can't see him going to a side that isn't already established and um, doesn't already have a bit of talent around them.
Yeah, well, the Madison Square Garden side of thing has always been an appeal for LeBron. Let's just go over the main ones. If he stays with the Cavs in terms of their payroll options, they are going to have one of the most expensive payrolls in the history of the league because LeBron would opt into a 35, or likely, unless he signs a longer deal, a $35 million deal. They've still got Kevin Love, who's contracted for next season player option for 2019-2020. They have George Hill on $19 million,
Jesus.
which is not great. That's probably, I'll do the maths quickly, but that's about, he scored 3 points in game 4 of the finals, so that's about nearly $6,500 a point. So
Yeah.
that's really positive. They've got Tristan Thompson, who's $35 million over the next two. JR's still $14 million next year for one mistake. Jordan Clarkson, $12 million. Kyle Korver's locked up. So they have really Rodney Hood, Jose Calderon, and Jeff Green are the guys who aren't contracted. So they can offer LeBron.
Rodney Hood's
Rodney
almost the
Hood.
one you want to keep after
Yeah,
his game
well.
4 performance. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and he will obviously probably 10. I don't know exactly, but I'm thinking around 10 will be what he's probably asking for. Might be too
Oh, I
much,
think a lower
but
side will probably throw a bit more at him because he's a scorer and has
yeah.
proven that he can be a number one guy. So it's quite possible that he gets a bigger deal.
Yep, so they will have some huge salary cap issues, but they can offer LeBron the most, or likely offer him the most. So that's their draw card. And obviously, his LeBron has said and always has been that his family's a big part of the decision, and they seem settled at the moment in Cleveland. If he goes to the purple and gold, there is going to obviously be some massive changes because I highly doubt LeBron is going to go to the Lakers if there's no other stars, Paul George, cough cough, that go there, or Kawhi Leonard. I just can't see him going there if he's going to be dealing with Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram. As good as these players are as prospects, I don't see him. If you just slot him onto that Lakers team, and even if they add Paul George, can you see them coming out of the West? Because I can't see them beating the Warriors or Houston if they just add those two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. I can't see Lonzo matching up too well against a Steph Curry or a Chris Paul or
Yeah.
some of those guys, and even I don't know, like Brook Lopez is playing there, and
And Luol Deng.
there are some big question marks around the Lakers. So as much as Brownie would love to have it happen, I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I can't see it happening either. If they do, it's going to be Luol Deng's contract. Someone's going to have to take that 18 million for next season off their hands, I'd say. But there is a chance because LeBron's obviously got houses in LA. He's always been quite keen about living in LA. Houston is the one which has been performance-wise in terms of winning a championship the most likely. Daryl Morey would have to pull off another miracle, which he did once to get Chris Paul in. If he somehow re-signs Clint Capella and gets LeBron in, it would be a borderline joke. But if anyone can do it, it probably is him. If you were Houston, though, because in my opinion, if I'm Houston, I don't want LeBron James. It's the same for Philly, which we'll get to. I don't want LeBron James. I think Houston should go after Paul George instead.
I mean, I don't know. I think any chance you get one of the two greatest players of all time to join your team, you probably don't want to say no. And I think if he like, I think they could make a case even if they do let CP3 go, but they obviously seem to have bought into him, and it obviously is working. if he stays healthy. So it's an interesting situation to put the Rockets in, but yeah, I'm probably with you. I can't really see them signing him.
Especially with CP3's already come out and said that he's not going to take a pay cut for this next deal. So it's going to be really hard. And then obviously the last one is Philly, which I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it at Houston because I think you're going to have to get rid of Capella. You're going to ruin your team structure. But with Philly, I just don't think he fits, in my opinion, with the development of Simmons and then obviously Embiid, but at the same time, I don't think they'll say no to him, so that is also another possibility. The problem the Cavs have is that they're kind of at the mercy of LeBron, which is exactly how he likes to play it. He's not going to tell them, or it is highly, highly unlikely that LeBron tells them what he's doing before the draft. And even then, it's probably going to be even longer than that before he actually lets them know. So they're kind of stuck because they've got that pick number 8, which isn't enough. It's not in a Ayton or Doncic level lottery pick or high lottery pick where a team's willing to trade an all-star just for that one pick. Do you think they should look at combining that number 8 pick, and really Kevin Love is the one tradable asset they really have? Would you combine those two and try and get another star?
It's almost an early option at this point, you'd say. I think it's an all right draft, and there will be some good players who do come mid to late lottery levels. So it is really an unknown as to what they're going to be allowed to pick with that pick in the draft. So I think if they are resigned to the fact that LeBron's going to leave, they almost do have to just blow it up and throw something at one of those teams with one of the top picks to maybe get rid of Kevin Love as well, because maybe he won't want to be in Cleveland as well because he wants to win, and Cleveland's not going to be the spot if LeBron's not there.
I just think at the moment, even if LeBron stays or if LeBron goes, this offseason is a blow it up offseason, because if LeBron agrees to staying, he's not going to agree to stay if he goes to the finals again with George Hill, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, Jordan Clarkson. He's going to agree to stay because you get someone or multiple players who he feels he can actually win the finals with. Whether if LeBron leaves, then you might as well cash in what you can get, what value is left of a Kevin Love contract in terms of a trade, and then that number 8 pick, you might as well trade it in now because they're going to go back to being a lottery team, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think there's not much that they can do, and it's a really tough situation for the Cavs to be in after being pretty successful over the last 3 years with the one championship and the finals appearances. So it's a tough spot. So we'll have to see what they're going to do in the off season.